Hello, good morning, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauren.
And I'm Ian, and this is the Weekend Workout, episode 1 of semester 3. So thank you very much for joining us here today. Like, subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment of your favorite part of today's practice. Last week, or the last semester rather, we worked on those basics. Let's expand on those basics and work on the handstand, but it does start with that warm-up. Let's get to the floor right away using our ankle squat. But first, a little toe foot action here. Find those demi points or balls of feet. Then next, get to the toe tip if allowed. Gently, of course, flex over those toes and then back to those balls of feet. Then press up and hold a really quick balance and then come down and do the same thing on the other leg. From the balls of the foot, it's towards the toe tip and then that flexion over, cramping up the arch. Back to the balls of feet, find a quick balance, come down on a straight leg and repeat just one more time each side. And in the handstand today, make that commitment to point your toes. Last time over here, and let's just return back to flat feet. From the feet, we'll get into the ankle, from the feet and ankles, we'll get into the knees. Knees over toes, squeeze your glutes, and press through. Repeat again, heavy on the toes, supple on the knees and ankles, and we cramp those glutes to stand tall. Let's just also find a nice little toe balance up here and hold for a couple seconds and maybe look at your training partner around the room. Hold on to the balance for dear life. And then knees over toes, and this time we'll peel those heels up. Hands could go on the knees or just out to the side, and then knees down and hips through. A really quick wrist warm up for me, and then sending it over to Lauren for more. It's the hip hinge, fingers, calluses, full hands. Get yourself situated. Wide open fingertips, turn them white with pressure pushing into the floor, and those blood donations are facing forward. At the head neck, first, extension. Let's look forward, and then tuck a chin. Small shapes here, doesn't have to be big when you tuck a chin. And then again, extension, looking forward, and then chin tuck, looking between the hands. Next, let's just do our first knuckle push-ups here, so keeping the elbows nice and straight. Work on that wrist flexion and extension strength here and build the endurance and connection between the floor and your hands. If we did that one more, we'll push so much that we flick the floor away and then add a nice little shake. We'll do a quarter turn with the hands, still landing fingers, calluses and hands, then next. And at the ears to the shoulder, a little lateral bend at the neck. Keep your nose in place as we do that again, ear to shoulder. Still think about the fingers, sharing the load into the floor, laterally bending on the neck, making room, bringing it back to the center with the neck, and then push to the right and go left with the hands. Then push to the left and then go right. Repeat a couple more repetitions here, and this skill is very useful in that handstand. If we feel we're going one way, too much, push the other, and you'll find that you might find that way to center. Then push so much that the hands lift and we can shake them out again. And we'll do one more here with those fists. So make fists, aiming to land on the peace sign or the index and middle finger. And then first we'll do a rotation again to look at your training partner or the wall beside you. And then look at the ground. And then again, are you still heavy on the index and middle finger? Try to avoid dumping into that pinky side of the hand. It is important, but stay on the index fingers for now. Then, with one hand, open the fingers. Then gently flex over the wrist, meaning back of hand towards the floor, but then push into the floor, keeping the elbow straight to then extend the wrist. Same thing, the fingers open. We go over the hand, find that tension of pressing those knuckleheads into the ground to back to neutral. Just one more time each, and then again. And one final time here on the other side, keeping the elbow straight. Lauren has great flexibility there and that great strength piece to bring it back. Push the floor away. There's one more thing for me, and we'll get into shoulder blades in a little bit of a hover perhaps too. So with our fingers, calluses, and hands on the floor, always check in. Personally, that feels better than it did earlier today after manipulating the wrists. Push the floor forward, lift the knees up, and then at the shoulder blades, squeeze together. Then from there, elevate the shoulders like I don't know, and then push into the floor, protracting the shoulder. Then pull down to the hips, pull back together. And let's just switch that circle. Down to the hips, push into the floor, shrug up, retract, gently let the knees down, push the floor away, shake it out, and I'm excited to see what Lauren has next.
Let's fire up that core. So we'll flip over right away to our backside and end up warming that core. And then we'll get into some plank positions from there. Let's lie down, feet flat on the floor, chin slightly tucked. Oh, I need hair and makeup here for my hair adjustments. There we go. Okay, we're lying here. Our palms are up. Right now, just paying attention to what's touching the floor through your back. Your tailbone, hips are on the floor, your upper back bra line, and your chin is lightly tucked. There's a little mouse living in the house in your low back. Let's keep them alive this whole time. Now, let's connecting our ribs and hips by lifting our head and shoulders off the floor. Let's just hold this position for a couple seconds and think about it. As we did that, we didn't change the spine. So we didn't crush that little mouse living under there. We maintained that neutral spine as we connected the ribs and hips. Next, let's lift maybe one or both feet off the floor. Palms are still up at your sides. Maintaining that hollow position, could you then extend one leg out front of you and then return it to center and alternate sides here. Now, you might think, oh, my neck is working. And you're right, because it's defying gravity. But try to keep those ribs to hips, maintaining that ab tension as you do this. Last one or two each side. And extend, and then pull back to center and gently relax back to the floor. Let's flip ourselves over and just get those hamstrings warmed up for a little down dog position, or our kick-ups early. Hands are on the floor underneath shoulders, toes are tucked. Let's get up into our first plank here. We'll pull the floor together underneath of us, squeezing our butt cheeks, bracing our abs. Now, starting at the hips, tip your hips in that anterior tip, lifting the hips, and bring yourself up to our elephant position or A-frame. Now, right now, let's bend the knees. Re-tip the tailbone to the ceiling. Now, I want you to keep the knees bent. Keep the tip in the hips, but try to gently straighten the knees, but I don't want you to. What we're doing here is we're trying to feel that length through the muscle belly of the hamstring and the top of the hamstring versus just through the back of the knees. We'll get to that in a second. Then let's pull ourselves back into that plank and hold, pulling the floor together, squeezing the cheeks, bracing the abs, tension like you'll need for your handstand. Lift your hips. This time we'll start with the knees bent, and then we'll gently try to straighten them, pressing the heels towards the floor. You may notice how that stretch changes now towards the back of the knee and the calves. Let's go one more time into that plank position and hold for 8 seconds. Oh, I almost started counting at 5, even though I said 8. 4, 3, 2, knees down. Let's do one more hollow hold from there. Flip over to your back one more time. Starting the same way, feet flat on the floor, palms at your side, looking up at the ceiling. First, ribs to hips. Bring yourself up. Next, one or both feet off the floor. You could do your alternating leg extensions, or you could extend both legs at the same time. When they're out there, look down at them. Are the toes pointed? Are they tight together? Are the knees nice and straight? And there's tension through those legs. You've maintained that hollow position. You could keep your arms here, or practice in here for 4 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Pull back to center and gently rest. Oh, that got me hot. Yes. Let's flip over, and if we have time and it's okay, let's do 1 3-point down dog, because that'll prep us for a kick up. So we're back into that plank position there. Just hair and makeup.
Hair and makeup. Let's get on it.
Here.
Checking in with those basics, like those wrists. How are they doing so far, crew?
So in our plank position first, let's get up there. With tension, cheeks, shoulders pulled down. Now take one foot, flick the floor away, lift the hips up towards the ceiling, and reach that leg high. I want you to keep the hips closed towards the floor, not open. Then pull yourself back through. Repeat second side. Flick the floor away. Hips are closed. We want closed hips. You won't reach as high, but we want closed hips before that kick up. If we open to the side in our kick up, we'll go to the side, more like a cartwheel. Keep those hips closed. Reach the leg long. Pull back through to that plank. Try to get shoulders over top of fingertips when you're in that plank for a little wrist extension fun. Last time, let's end in that plank again for that magic 8 seconds. Cheeks tucked under, abs. 5, 4, 3, 2. Lift your hips, walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet, and then slowly unfold yourself, tucking your chin and stacking yourself up all the way to Tolly Tall. Whoa. Ooh. That was a
Awesome.
warm-up.
The warm-up might be just enough of a workout for you. So enjoy a sip of coffee and enjoy this morning as we are here, or continue with us as we work on some movement clocks for the low body, and we'll come back to those kick-ups like Lauren had mentioned. There's a little bit of wrinkle, Lauren. There's a new move coming up, so stay tuned. We'll have our knee pointing forward, point through the foot next and the leg, and pull ourselves forward, and then push, return the leg underneath. Same thing to the diagonal side.
Same leg.
Same leg. Do the point, do the land, feel the pull, and then complement it with that push. Same thing to the side. Find your balance, knee side, land with control. And this is the new move. We'll go knee front, knee side. Now stay looking forward through the head and turn through the shoulders until the very last second, and then land to that back corner.
Do I look now?
Now we look. Then push and assemble back together. And now the knee stays in the same place as you reach out to the back. It's that scissor tension as we pull low and press away to resume back to tall. Same thing other side. Knee point, toe point, land toe ball heel, and it's this pull and a push. Then pull up to the ankle, diagonally open, toe ball heel in the landing, and push one way to go the other. It's the same thing as you move to the side here, land toe ball heel, hand push. Now a slight new wrinkle, go knee front, knee side. Head stays centered for those pirouette turns, and then point and land, and then press. Then last one, the knee stays in the same place. We straighten out the knee before the heel touches, scissoring down, pushing through, and finishing again very tall with our shake and a wiggle. You don't have to go far to enjoy that movement clock, loosen the hips, and more crawls, more balances. What's up?
Let's do one crawl. So that, you know what you could do if you don't feel like doing kick-ups, we can add and then we spend a little more time on the wrist prepping them. So let's use our hinge to get towards the floor. Hip hinge, tailbone tips to the ceiling, walk yourself out. Let's do our elephant crawl. Keep it basic here. Hands are nice and wide open on the floor. We are going to tip the hips towards the ceiling, gently trying to straighten the knees. Your ultimate goal is to keep those heels down on the floor, but also keep that spine nice and long. As we go here, you're going to take a step with opposite hand and foot. And again, the ultimate goal would be to keep those heels down, even the back heel down as you take the step forward. Breathe. Try to lift opposite hand and foot at the same time. Try to avoid hiking into that low back, but lifting and creating space in that hip socket. And then let's go back to where we came from, trying that same crawl, contralateral in the backwards direction. Take your time. Load up all of the hands, not just the butt of that hand. Use your fingers, use your callus line, use your knuckles, and then bend your knees, walking yourself back, extending to tall, and pressing through. Whew. Nice.
Awesome. There's more of those hand movements to come, but let's just, again, work on those other kinds of balances with our feet and hips. This time, the leg that stays standing will be doing, or still rather, will be doing the bending. The other leg reaches out front, and then push through to tall. Using the same leg, let's reach the diagonal, and then finish tall with our hip extension again, and then to the side. Finishing tall. Out the back, we can turn in that inseam, almost like a skate stride here, and then return. And we reach out the back, we might just get a little bit of that forward lean here, and then extend. It's the same thing on the other side. Out front for a quick second, how much weight's on that leg? Hopefully not much, and push through. And then out to the diagonal, same thing, and extend through. Out to the side, are those hips level? Always working on that awareness. And then to the back, straighten the knee. It's a cue for you and me. And then to the back as well, slight lean. Extend through, shake and wiggle. And now is it time to get back on those hands?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So we'll explore our first round of kick-ups here today. Let's first explore that tripod entry, which means we start with our hands on the floor. So what we'll do is we'll place, are we gonna go I go, you go?
Sure.
Okay, so Ian's gonna place his hands on the floor nice and spread open wide. He'll have a staggered stance, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. First things first in this position, shift your weight forward so that your shoulders are over top of your wrists. Next, we're going to find baby air, which means we're going to get off the floor 1 centimeter. So try to just get those feet just off the floor. Explore what it's like. Tell your brain it's okay to be upside down and to take all this load. Maybe you alternate feet as you practice this kick up. And just for a couple, get a little air time, a little hang time, 3, 2, and then push the floor away to stand yourself back up.
That's right. So we need to accept that floor in the setup, gripping the fingers and loading the shoulders over the wrists, and looking for those baby airs first. I think I did about 3 or 4 each side, and I definitely was reminded of the leg that I prefer to do it with. Do the leg that comes naturally, and do the leg that's a little bit more challenging. And it'll help you no matter what you choose. We'll do 2 sets of that, shake out those wrists. Let's do it again.
So trying that same thing again. So again, it's the setup. Hands grip the floor, both shoulder width apart. You're pushing the floor away so you already have straight elbows, and your shoulders are elevated into your ears from here. Next, you're trying to kick that floor away, pressing towards that vertical position. If you're nervous about kicking over one side to the other, then always keep that leg, one leg out behind you, creating that L-leg shape. And remember, you don't have to get this high right away. Keeping that leg behind you will always take you back to where you came from.
Just try to stay away from the free fall, but that happens too. So maybe next week, let's practice our cartwheel to add some nice safe bailout strategies. But for today, slowly climb that ladder, point those toes. She's pointing the toes so much they're appearing off the screen today here, and straighten those knees. Couple switchies if you want. Take some time. There'll be lots of time to get more reps on those hands. So rest is sometimes best as well. Done with that for right now. Back to those legs. Let's pull up to the ankle and just hold that for a second. Then let's bend on a single leg and straighten out the leg out front with those toe points. It's handstand class after all. And then pull underneath and finish nice and tall. And then just open that leg to the side. Same idea. We'll do our single leg squat. The knee will stay in the same place as you point and hold, return, and finish tall. Then close that knee to the middle, get the toes to touch, and cramp those glutes through. Just 1 repetition each side for this other side now as well. Pull up to the ankle, hold a quick balance, and maybe that's where we stay. And then next, sit squat. Feel free to stay here as well, or extend as you point the toe and breathe. Pull it underneath, extend tall. Of course, we're cramping those glutes and rooting with the toes, and then knee to the side. Same effort. Sit in that safe squat, point that leg, inseams forward, straight knees, toe points, underneath, tall, and like there's tension or resistance, adduct or pull the knee back to the middle, toes touch, glutes, squeeze.
Excellent.
I go, you go.
So round 2 of these kick-ups we're exploring today, we'll practice that step in or introduce that step in kick-up here. So with the step in, you start in a staggered stance, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, arms overhead, and already in that hollow position that we did on the floor earlier. Next, we'll be reaching forward, thinking about getting up and over. Start again first with baby air, so barely getting off the floor, just exploring where your hands land, where your body needs to be, and just finding a little bit of air before you get any higher. As you go here, try to again think about those hands gripping the floors. If you just put your weight through that butt of your hand, your wrists aren't going to be happy. So use all of your fingers as you go, as well as that callus line connection to the floor. A little bit as you do this, thinking about getting up and over into that position, because if you come at the floor at an angle, you're not going to get up and over.
Bury yourself there. And we want to go up there. And Lauren said we go up there by pressing down heavily through the fingertips, hollow and strong through the core, straight legs, and working on a couple of our kick-ups here. Lauren's favorite way to do the kick-up is the tripod, and my favorite way to get in the handstand is this one. You'll probably have your favorite as well. Work with it. Challenge both. As Lauren finishes 1 or 2 more reps here, it's nice and quiet as well, nice and efficient and safe.
So one more time for Team Ian. Remembering when we do this, I go, you go, you're either going with me and watching Ian or going with Ian watching me. So take some time off those wrists. It is important to practice, but it's also important to recover. As you land here, try to make it soft on the landing through the fingers, as Ian said. So fingertips, callus, palm. That's why we practice that in the beginning warm-up when we place our hands on the floor for our wrists. Next, that hollow position. Try entering your handstand with that hollow position so you don't have to get into it once you're upside down.
Those adjustments upside down, again, come from those fingertips, and we hold that hollow shape. Of course, it goes back and forth a little bit, but again, most of that movement will happen at the fingers. So Lauren enters with the toe point and pushes the floor away when she comes back up. Accept the floor. Nice fun trick there. I was doing the same. Lauren's scissoring those legs. So it's up with one, carry the other leg up, and then down and down. Well, we have just a couple more minutes here, so let's do one more set of our movements with our squats here, and then back to Lauren for more fun on the hands. Pull the knee to the front, and let's get our sit squat or our plie here. Then point to the front. Keep it low or as safely high as you can as you reach it to the side, and then back to the front. Pull it underneath the leg, and then extend through. Open the knee to the side, and repeat the same idea here as we sit first. Straighten the leg next. Bring it from the side to the front. Can it get higher as it goes from the front to the side? And pull under, extend through, close back middle, toes, glutes, whoo, shake. Same thing on the other side, just 2 quick reps. Pull up to the ankle. More isn't always better, but that time under tension here will help create resilience, strength, and challenges in your shape. We went from the side to the front to under and extend. It's just one more time here.
Knee side.
Go knee side. We'll sit in that squat. We'll reach out and we're breathing. Then we'll go from the side to the front, and could it get higher and you get lower? And then knee, side, foot under, extend hip, knee front, toe touch. So many cues, and that's okay. Because when you're thinking about that, you weren't thinking of how it's already been 25 minutes in this practice. We have a couple more things here, Lauren. How are we going to finish today?
Let's do 2 rounds of spending 20 seconds on our hands. So what that means is for 20 seconds, either version, tripod or step in, I want you, or an elephant curl or a plank, really the options. I want you to just spend that much time trying to work on that skill. We'll take a little break, shake it out, and we'll do a second round in 20 seconds. Okay, we're building up our endurance in our wrists. Next week will involve that wall climb, so spending a little more time upside down. So in 3, 2, 20 seconds of just kick-ups. You're just kicking up and coming back down, kicking up and coming back down, spending a little bit of time. You could be still on that baby air, or you could be finding a little bit bigger air. But we're just kicking up for 3, 2, and then stand up tall. Whew, how did that go? Shake out your hands. Did you find a little bit of even a millisecond of balance? If you didn't, that's totally fine too. And maybe you just spent that time in your plank or your elephant crawl.
I think I chose the easy version there with that step in, as there was more time in between off the hands. So for the last one, I'm going to go back to my least preferred version of a handstand kick up, being Lauren's tripod. Kind. Yep, so I'm going to do it because there's more time on my hands.
We're going to do that again. Get ready in 5. So another 20 seconds on the clock. 3, 2, just kick ups. Try that little scissor action. It'll help you get a little more air. So you're kicking up with one and coming down, landing on the other. Again, we're just getting some endurance in our wrists and our arms. We're telling our brain it's all right to be up here. Last 3, 2, 1. Press the floor away to stand up tall and shake that out. Nice. I got a little bit of a workout in there just doing those kick-ups.
That's right.
Whew.
This has been episode 1 of semester 3.
Of 6.
There's 6 more, 6 more total, I guess. So 5 more to come your way, live on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. We'll build upon these skills, and I always invite you to check out the basics section to make sure we're refining those simple things like using our fingertips, hollowing out, protecting our spine, and of course, having fun with this fitness thing.
So we have a website you should check out, barsandbells.com. You could subscribe to our Patreon page, or in the least, like and subscribe on YouTube. And all semesters next week start in week 2, starting Tuesday with our kettlebell practice, Thursday at our bar, and Saturday back here. We hope you can join us for one or for all. And until then, take care.
Stay strong.
And we'll train soon.
Have a good day.
Goodbye.